Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Gun Culture Radio. This time, instead of having Zeke talk at you guys and make you aware of the sponsor, I figured I would just do it myself. The sponsor for this podcast is SDI, Sonoran Desert Institute. You can check them out at sdi.edu. It's a really cool opportunity if you're interested in being a gunsmith. They have some other firearms technology degrees. Just check out their website. They do take GI Bill. So any veterans out there, it's a cool opportunity. You know, you can't hate a job, in the gun industry. I assume a lot of people listening to this show are gun nuts just like me. It's cool to be able to have a job doing something that you love. Turning a hobby into a job is the true American dream. It's not 2 cars in every garage and a white picket fence. It's having a job that you love. That's the American dream right there. And that should be everyone's dream. That should be the human dream, not just the American dream. Anyways, check that out, sdi.edu. I really appreciate having Federal Ammo on as a sponsor for this show. They've been a great ammo company for a lot of years. They're really good about working with new media, which I feel like says that they are very on top of things and very with it for a company that has been around as long as they have. And they just have a wide range of selection when it comes to ammo. Everything from their Federal Champion brand, which is a really good, affordable ammo for practice at the range. They also have their American Eagle brand, which is a really good, middle-of-the-road, high-quality ball ammo, practice ammo, defense ammo, whatever you want to use it for. And then they also have really high-end defensive ammo and hunting ammo with premium bullet technologies and all the good stuff. So you got the full spectrum with Federal Ammo. They always seem to keep a lot of it in stock, and it's easy to find. Just a great company. Really happy to have them on as a sponsor and really appreciate them. All right, here we are back on the radio again. Derrick's here.
Hey, happy to be here.
Yep.
That 5-hour flight to get here is getting kind of old, though.
Oh, yeah. We should probably stop doing these shows in Eastern Europe.
Coming through customs in Germany. Yeah. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know. It's like sneaking all these guns over.
That's right. I mean, come on. so come on, and not talking about ammunition. Come on, my cheeks are killing me. Come on,
ironic thing, if you were flying to Afghanistan or Iraq or something, you ought to be able to bring all the guns you want.
Well, I did once going to Iraq. I had an M4 right there on the plane next to me. Nobody said a word. I don't know why. And believe me, that was freaking me out. I'm sitting in first class.
Really, in a commercial flight?
A commercial flight with a semi-automatic assault rifle sitting right next to me, and nobody even looked up because everybody else had one.
Of course, no ammo, right?
That's right, no ammo.
Yeah.
So, you can't have everything.
You still had your grenades, though, right?
Yeah, the grenades, plastic explosives, yes. Bullets, no. They got the set limits.
Yeah, they got set limits. Yeah. Claymores.
Okay, Claymore. No blasting caps, though.
Oh, okay.
No blasting caps, though.
If you're really tough, I guess you can mount a Claymore to your chest plate.
That's old school. That's old school. Did you see that Trump rally? They had the last thing on Trump. He was out. There was a rally last night or sometime, and this woman dressed in Arabic clothing just stood up, and all of a sudden they escorted her out, and that made big. She didn't do anything. She just stood up, dressed in Arabic clothes. She was a 51-year-old flight attendant. And she stood up. He was making his statement. She stood up and just stood there in silent protest. And also they escorted her out. And this made news.
Huh.
Okay, I think the problem was, and we all should be ashamed of this, is that we stereotyped.
Yeah.
We see someone dressed that way, just come in, all of a sudden everybody's on alert.
Right.
That is a bad stereotype, but everybody thinks we don't want to take the chance. It's an issue. We shouldn't stereotype people, but at the same time, everybody's going to tell you, after Paris, San Bernardino, place like that, people get on edge. I don't know what to say. I mean, you don't want to be bigot, but you want to be careful too. You just don't know. Yeah. So I understand. This is one occasion where I understand, or especially at a political rally too.
Right.
You just gotta be careful. You don't know.
Yeah.
Plus, also, if God forbid something had occurred, God forbid, they would have said you should have known.
Right.
You should have known. So it's catch-22.
Right, and it's also a lot of that stereotype that we have is because while there is a pretty largely growing Muslim population, Islamic population in this country, there's still not a lot of them, depending on where you live.
Depending on where you live.
And if, let's say, for example, that most of the mass shootings were done by people wearing cargo shorts,
That's right.
you're not really going to think anything about it because
Boston,
like everybody like tons of people wear those or whatever. But whenever there's like a defining characteristic, that you don't see a lot of, then it's like your mind. It's a defense mechanism.
Yes.
That goes back probably thousands and thousands of years. That person doesn't look like me. They're not part of my family. They're from somewhere else.
I don't know them. Yeah.
So they might want to take what I got. So it's like it goes back thousands of years, but it's something that it's not relevant anymore, and we just have to grow
out of it and be aware. We need to be mindful that we do that.
Right.
It's not the right thing to do, and we all do it. By the way, a lot of people can't get past what they see.
Yeah.
But we have to be mindful that we do that. And,
right.
All people are not the same. Thank you. So we have to just be aware that we have to treat each person individually.
Right.
Somebody pointed out to me that some kind of YouTube video that this person in New York dressed in Middle Eastern clothing walked down the street in New York with a backpack on, and he just threw it down, and people scattered.
Yeah.
Again, that shows you what the attitude is, what the climate is right now in America.
Yeah.
Which is not right, but we do it. So again, we just need to be aware that we're doing that because it ain't right.
Right.
Because all people are. You can't treat everybody the same. You can't.
Right.
So just for those anybody got a problem, anybody that don't think so, just think say about 40, 50 years ago. As far as stereotypes go.
Oh yeah.
So
it's tough. It really is, especially with like that's different. We're treated like until recently. Look how like you said, look how we treated black people in this country.
Yeah.
Mexicans, Native Americans.
Oh yeah.
All this kind of stuff. And a lot of these people were not. There's nothing we have to. There's not like a bunch of one race like bombing places. This is just because we had stereotypes from they go back.
Exactly. So we have to be aware of that, and that's one way you avoid that is to be aware that stereotype does exist and don't fall into it.
Right.
Number one, if you're that person, that kind of person, don't fall into that stereotype. And two, if you're not, don't treat people a certain way based on the way they look or where they're from or how they dress.
Yeah.
So you just gotta be aware.
And part of since we're talking about this, like this is something that I've thought about for a while that's annoying is like it's such a sensitive issue, understandably so, but that also ends up working against it. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Like it's been made such a sensitive issue because of horrible things that have happened, which I totally understand. But then by it being such a sensitive thing, then nothing gets done and it gets weird. It's terrifying. Even right now, like just talking about it, it makes you a little on edge.
Because
like, oh no,
you won't be politically correct, which is being politically correct is good and bad. Yeah. It makes you be aware of some things that you need to maybe talk about, but it also makes you avoid talking about them.
Right.
Which is not good. If the way we avoid these problems is to bring them out on the table.
Yeah.
The Senator Daniel Inouye, I know I'm mispronouncing his name, but he was.
You're a racist. You mispronouncing it.
He was a Hawaiian senator. He was a World War II veteran. I think he had a Medal of Honor from World War II.
Yeah.
Served in the 442nd Combat Brigade. It was all Japanese Americans in Europe. Again, Medal of Honor winner. And he said something I absolutely never forgot. I heard him say once that you could avoid a lot of the problems, a lot of the racism you see in America if everybody took 10 minutes every day to get to know somebody different from them.
Yeah, definitely.
And absolutely right. So
definitely. That's a lot of the problem is we still have pockets of people who live in areas where they're only around people who are just like them.
Well, tell me about when I was a recruiter up in, I won't say what city.
Okay. Probably good.
That's right. Some area of the Northeast.
Namelessville, right?
Some nameless area of the Northeastern United States. Yeah. There was only a certain kind of person up there.
Yeah.
And I'm being vague. Okay. There's only a certain kind of person up there. I'm not gonna say it wasn't diverse. I'm not gonna say it wasn't diverse, but let me say I had 3 high schools of 700-800 students each, and I was the minority. so yes, I was like coming from the Great South, by God, where I come from. I go to this place way up north now, way up north, and realize there ain't no diversity up there. And, I'm like, hey,
you should have talked just like that.
I should have done that. I go up there, and I walk into these schools. I look around, and I go, hey, somebody's different. Somebody is not like everybody else. So I had to do a lot of ice breaking, a lot of stereotype breaking, and all that. And after 3 years, eventually, I think I made some progress. Not much, but some progress. And I was amazed too, after being in the Army, being around all kinds of different kind of people. I was amazed that there are places in America, even today probably, that aren't diverse. You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Because it was made apparent to me then that, the places in America, hey, they go, what?
Yeah.
A black person, what?
Yeah. And it doesn't always happen like people think, too. Like, for example, when I was growing up in high school, I went to a rural area, and there was probably, at the time, a lot more moved out there since, but at the time, there was like 2-3 black people in our school. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. People weren't really, now I'm sure there were some, but 99% of people weren't ever racist towards them. It was almost the other way. They were like rock stars. Like, wow, like everybody wanted to be their friend. They were like, really cool. Like,
but have that black friend.
Yeah. Everybody was fighting for the token black friend.
That's right. No, eat over here. No, you come over here.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got that element of it too.
Yes.
And there's like, passive aggressive. What's the word I'm looking for? It's not passive aggressive racism, but it's like passive aggressive, like forced diversity.
Okay.
Like every school book that you open up, right? If there's a picture of students and there's like 4 or 5 of them, like everybody is going to be represented. There'll be
that melting pot, that classroom, like the old movies from the 30s. Well, not kind of. Maybe that's a bad analogy. Now, like in the old movies in the 30s and 40s, they always had that melting pot crew. The Italian, the average white guy, the Jewish guy. Hey, now it's you got to have the black guy, the Spanish guy, the challenged person, the handicapped person.
Yeah,
everybody's got to be represented now.
Really, if they want to be realistic, it's like if you're looking through a science book or something, and there's like different, it's showing like a lab, and it's like there can be an all black science group, right?
Why not? Why not?
Yeah, there can be an all black one. There can be an all white one. There can be like a bunch of white ones with one black guy, or a bunch of black people with like an Asian guy. Like,
okay,
let's be realistic here.
You're right. Being honest, being honest, those books portray an America that's colorblind, which is not true.
Right.
Which is not true.
Yeah, that is a silly idea. To me, that was like one of the first. It seems like we're finally starting to come over this hump of like everyone pretty much agrees. Oh yeah, that's right. Discrimination is not a good thing. Yeah. Then it's like okay, I don't see color. Like, how many times have you heard that?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Yes.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. With the southern place I come from. It was a while back. I got a few miles on you, but I didn't see it. It was back then. It was either black, white, or a mix of the two. Yeah. Back in the deep South where I come from, and I didn't see the first Latin person until I was like 17. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Boy, you black or you be white? I can't tell, boy.
That's a white boy. It's been in the sun too long.
And the basic training thing. I'm sitting there again, 17 years old. No, 20 years old. Never left this place in my life. Never left home before.
Yeah.
They sent me up north to this Fort Dix. And I'm sitting at the grenade.
Bunch of up there.
Yeah, New Jersey. Yeah, Jersey. Oh. And yeah, I did think that. First time I went, again, I'm a Southern kid, never been out of the South in my life. They send me to Fort Dix, New Jersey. I get up there, and I hear these stereotypical Northern New York, New Jersey accents. Every guy was like, oh, hey, oh. I'm like, this a movie? Yeah. And of course, I'm thinking, these boys talk just like them boys do on TV.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and we're at the grenade range. I see these dark-skinned individuals speaking, and I'm thinking they were Spanish.
Yeah, okay.
They were speaking Spanish, and it didn't even occur to me that these guys were speaking their language. I was like, I sat there listening, going, I kept listening. I thought, is my ears clogged up? Is something wrong with me? I get too close to one of them grenades going off. I can't understand anything they're saying. It didn't even occur to me that they were speaking another language, and I just thought them boys they got a thick accent. They must be from way down south, down Louisiana, somewhere like that. They would be Cajun, something like that, you know. But the idea that they were speaking another language didn't even occur to me because it's America. Come on, everybody speaks English. Come on, yeah, right. So, how much have we changed? I mean, again, you got to get out from where you're from, get out there, see the whole world, realize there's more than just you or your kind of people out there. I mean, there's a whole world out there. Get out there and see it.
Yeah, and just like one of my favorite things to bring up is it's an exposure thing.
Exactly. You know? Exactly. Now I can't imagine being that way now. Like, what? Dude, you were ignorant.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine digging out your ears, you know? What?
Can't understand the hell. What word he saying? That's some thick Southern dialect. But I was sure they were Southern. I was sure. Because they weren't Yankee.
Yeah. I don't know. That's an interesting thing. It'll take a long time, for that to settle into a nice, comfy place for everybody. You know,
we've come a long way. It's 2015. We've come 16. Sorry, 2016.
Right, 16,
whereas we've come a long way, but there's still some bad attitudes out there, which I feel kind of hard to believe in 2016. Yeah. Come on, man, really?
Yeah, I know.
It's 2016, man. 21st century.
Yeah.
But I remember saying the same thing. Man, come on, it's 1983. Come on.
Yeah.
So
especially with the internet, because
how can you not be diverse now?
Yeah, if you watch content on the internet, especially, or even on TV. I mean, on TV they intentionally try to diverse things up, but on the internet it's just naturally diverse. If you watch content on the internet, like you're going to see people that come from all kinds of backgrounds.
Oh yes,
and you're going to see from every race. You're going to see awesome people from
everybody
race.
Has their own their share of buttholes. Yes, they all don't here to tell you.
Yeah.
They all do.
like there's this thing, there's a comedian, Bill Burr. I found this thing online where they asked him a question and they said, do you support the troops? And he's like, what, all of them? He's like, I mean, yeah, 99%, but I mean, I'm sure there's some dicks in the Air Force.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Of course, he's just trying to make a joke, but still,
Oh, yeah, but you got that one guy out there. Oh, did you hear him? He said he didn't support all the troops.
Yeah.
Hey, dude. Okay, look.
Yeah, but it's just for to be a joke, but it's still a great point. It's like, and it seems like I've heard somebody say that one time. And I know I've repeated it before about it here, but like. It seems like someone told me, like, we'll know when racism is finally almost beat when people can just like talk shit about other races, people that not the races, but like people, who are of minorities, because it's like that guy's a dick because he's a dick.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's that's it.
You get people who are overly sensitive. I mean, I think there's too much of that. Oh, you can't say this, can't say that, because somebody might take offense. Hey, man, take a joke. Yeah. I heard Bill Maher, of all people, say that that if there's one group that you can always joke about and they don't have a problem with it, it's Christians.
Yeah,
they can always take a joke. So I went, okay, score one for the Christians. Hell yeah.
Yeah, and part of that is because they're considered kind of the oppressors, which of late, I mean.
Oppressor. Okay. Okay. So no.
But that is part of it. No one thinks of regular old white, and I say regular old because
you about to say regular old white folks? You about to say that?
Because your average garden variety. Okay. White folk, because you got different white people that consider themselves minorities, like Jewish people and Italians, and maybe Irish. I don't know.
Them Irish, my God.
Yeah. But typically that's a group of people that is never considered like a minority or that's ever been put down or whatever. So it's like if you're making fun of them, which I get that. There's people who it's like, oh well. You can say this about, you can't say this about these people, but you can say this about these other people. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but, history, it does matter to an extent.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
History does matter.
It does matter. Like, there's an interesting point that I heard Joe Rogan bring up on his podcast, and he's like a UFC guy. There's apparently a UFC fighter, Hispanic guy, who has a tattoo across his chest that says "Brown Pride."
Oh yeah, right? I've seen that guy. Yeah,
yeah. So he at the point I heard him bring up one time, which is interesting, is he said, "What if there was a Irish UFC fighter that had a thing that said white pride.
Oh my God!
Right? Like,
oh my God! Yeah.
People would think he was.
People equate that with racism. So.
Right? They would, and so like. There's two sides of that.
Oh yes.
One, like, yeah, I could see that. I could see how you might say that's not fair, but it kind of is though, right? Because like Irish people, well, okay, I got to be careful what I say because somebody's going to chime in and say, no, back in 1740, okay. But still though, historically of recent, right? White people have not been too oppressed, right? So,
okay, I'm glad you said that.
So,
okay, go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I get it. I get how some people could say, like, "Oh, that's not fair," but let's just leave it alone. You know?
Yeah. Further point I was going to make on that is that it's okay to be proud of who you are. Of course, be proud of who you are, where you come from. By all means, yes. Right. One thing I'll never make the mistake of again, the mistake of doing again, is calling an Irish guy British. Absolutely, do not do that. Because I'm sitting in Germany years ago, and I was going to buy this car. And again, I'm just more from Georgia. I don't know nothing about these foreign folks. Yeah. And this guy starts. Talking in a what I thought was a British accent, and I says, "What all you British guys doing over here selling cars?" And the guy stopped. He stopped, dropped his pen, looked at me, and said, "Let's get something straight right now. I am Irish. I am not British." I'm like, dude, I didn't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Okay. Yeah. They take exception to that. And same thing when I met some Australian folks. And they were looking for somebody, and I went to their party, and I said, "Yeah, I saw some more of you British guys over here." The guy said, "Oh, hey, I'm Australian. Yeah, I'm not British." I'm like, "Okay, dude, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I'm sorry."
Just don't confuse them with New Zealanders. That's even
exactly
worse.
Too. I heard that from my same thing. Oh man, I have had if you don't know, don't guess. Yeah, don't guess. Just say, "Oh, okay, man, I don't know." Could you tell me? I don't know. Yeah. So I learned. I didn't know they were that particular about that. But hey,
yeah.
Be proud of who you are. Be proud of who you are.
Right, but don't take it to the point where it's hurting other people.
Yes, thank you. Yes, exactly. Good point. Moderation.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let's talk about something that makes my heart rate a little bit lower.
Let's tiptoe around. Yeah.
It's a scary thing to talk about, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's just the world that it is.
That's the world that we live in.
Yeah. So, anyways, the thing that has been big in Hickok 45 news and just. And all around, and you weren't aware of it. Like, I was explaining to you something earlier, and people are gonna. I don't know when this show is posted or how long this has been or what's going on now when they're listening to this.
Okay.
Hopefully nothing bad, but the Hickok 45 channel was terminated on January 6th.
Oh my God.
And that was just a scary day because that's like my dad and I have worked for 8 years building that, and it's our livelihood. It's how we make our living. It's my job. It's my full-time job, and all of a sudden it's just gone.
And not knowing why, it's like, whoa, right. Wow, yeah.
And there's no one we can really talk to. That's what's scarier. It's like I don't even know what to equate it to, really. I mean, it'd be like if, there's some TV show that's successful and then they show up and all their equipment is gone. Oh, God. And there's
your studio's empty. Where'd everything go?
There's no one they can call. They call the network and they're like, "We never heard of you."
Who?
It's like, what?
Who are you again? What's that? Spell that. H-I-C.
Yeah. And there's all these people that watch the show and they're like, "Hey, where'd you go?" And we're like, "I don't know."
I don't know.
So yeah, it's terrible. It's scary and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know. It was really frustrating. And luckily, it's resolved, or at least at this point, it is
for now.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
So hopefully, while you're listening to this, the channel isn't down right now.
It's ISIS, dude.
That's right. Yeah. Well,
ISIS.
That was another thing. There's a lot of conspiracy theories.
That's right. They're sitting in Damascus going, "Okay, Hickok.
Yeah.
Next target." Yeah.
Yeah. That's something I want to get into too. Is because there's a bunch of things about that. One, I don't think that it was a direct attack by the government. I don't think that.
Right. Why?
Well, that's the thing.
They got more to worry about. They got bigger fish to fry. Thank you.
Yes, and also I think that that they would take out more people, and I think that it wouldn't have. I think it wouldn't have happened that way, and it wouldn't have come back up. It would have been just. It would have been done.
Yeah, but we wouldn't be talking now.
Right. Exactly.
Hey, why really? I mean, it'd be kind of obvious.
It would. It'd be very obvious.
All of a sudden, okay, Big John's gone. Well, what happened?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think that. Now, one of the conspiracy theories that I will say has some validity that's more reasonable to me is some people have brought up the fact that possibly some of these anti-gun groups were going on the channel and like flagging it and doing like that stuff or whatever, and then YouTube's bot like took it down or something. That's a possibility, maybe, but I don't know. We have enough haters out there that I'm sure people have tried that before, and I don't know that you could really flag your channel enough to bring it down, because that's the one advantage of having a channel with so much activity. Yeah, is that you're just going to be a drop in the bucket. No matter what you do, almost.
Also, based on what? Flag you based on what? Try to take you down based on what? Yeah, it's about everything you guys do is valid and legitimate. Based on what? Because I don't like you? Okay.
Right. And that would be a problem with so many other YouTube channels.
Exactly.
Like there's much bigger channels that people, because there's that element where people love to bring down, a top dog or something or someone big, and so that would happen. People would be taking down, the Jimmy Fallon's website, YouTube page and stuff like that. There's bigger targets out there. Yeah. For different reasons. So I don't necessarily think that, but that makes more sense to me than like whatever Dianne Feinstein took it down, like somebody said in a video.
Yes, in the Temple of Doom, they're planning. I mean, sometimes things just happen. I mean, let's don't just discount that it's just a hiccup or something screwed up. Yeah. Let's avoid the knee jerk reactions, and the conspiracy theories, because we don't know.
Right. And now, we do have some reasons to be upset with Google, though.
Of course.
I have two big reasons to be upset with them. One is because it's just absurd that a channel that is at our size, right, where it's two people are living off of it. It's a business. It doesn't have a way to contact somebody. That's what's ridiculous. Is like there's no way. We have tried so many different avenues, and there's no way really to really talk to somebody who is anybody at YouTube or Google. It's like virtually impossible.
There must be a way, and I think that's probably the method. I don't know. I'm guessing that's part of the method to the madness is that make it. I don't think it can be too easy when you're Google.
They want to be inaccessible.
Exactly, because too many people would be contacting them.
Right, but the thing is, though,
if you have a legitimate reason to reach them, how do you?
Right. So, I mean, the thing is, we're around somewhere around the 800th largest YouTube channel based on subscribers. You would think that at least if you're in like the top, a couple of thousand or so or something like that there would be some way to. You'd have a direct line, because it's one thing if you just have some little YouTube channel that you get $50 a month from or something, and it goes down. That sucks.
That's all right.
But when you're living off of it and paying the bills and stuff, it's different.
True. There probably is a way to do it. We just don't know what that is right now. Yeah. There's probably just some way. I'm sure that once you get through all the BS, all the different getting transferred, that eventually you'll get there. But you got to be persistent enough.
I mean,
to stick it out.
And we've been pretty persistent, but that's definitely going to be moving forward. No matter what happens, that's going to be one of our goals is to figure out some way to get a hold of somebody,
which is part of moving forward.
Yeah,
exactly.
Maybe if anybody listening has any connection to Google. Maybe you can just, if you live in California, you can walk and knock on the door.
He's out there in Sacramento, San Francisco.
Yeah.
Hey, get me Big John. Okay. Yeah. I think is your phone ringing now. I can't tell.
Yeah. I feel like if I went to Google's office, broke in, found the CEO's office, kicked open the door.
He's in a meeting.
They'd be like, I'd just go in there and there'd be like a server room with a computer. How can I help you? Like that's how I feel like ridiculous it is.
Well, who knows? I mean, who knows? It probably is.
Maybe there isn't even anybody that works there.
That's right. Just a bank of computers.
Yeah,
just a bank of computers, Yeah,
maybe
it's like the Matrix. Yeah,
maybe that's the thing. Like if you work for Google, like whatever, because they do have some employees, but maybe like no one's ever seen the boss. There is no boss.
Who knows? I mean, I hear it's from what I understand, it's a cool place to work. They're pretty chill. But what do you do at Google if you work for them? What do you actually do?
Yeah, I guess just manage the accounts and
I guess. I mean, I can't.
sure.
I mean, what do you really do?
But,
I mean, I don't. I'm sure there's somebody, a group of people. I'm sure one guy that run the whole show.
Yeah,
there's probably a controlling group of people. There's probably not one guy you can talk to, but there's probably a group that's in charge. And then I think the trick will be to find. I think you told me about some of the things you guys did to try to reach somebody.
Yeah.
You got to find the section that handles what your issue is.
Yeah.
And then once you get to there, okay, all right, these are the people I need to talk to.
And the thing that makes it almost more frustrating is I feel like probably the guy who actually terminated us probably did it while he was like, because knowing how they do things at Google, like you've seen like the different setups that they have, like for like their work environment and stuff like that. So our channel probably got terminated from some guy laying in a pile of pillows.
That's right.
You know what
He's
I mean?
lounging on the pillows, a goblet of wine. Them.
He's like playing hacky sack with one foot, laying in a mountain of pillows
with his dog next to him, and he can bring to work. He can bring his dog to work with him. Yeah. Hickok. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, whatever.
So the disconnect, like there's no, right, that's one reason to be mad at Google. The second one, what was the second one? Oh yeah, the second one is that they're not gun friendly at all. Like they don't want gun content on there. So far, they've not been aggressively trying to take us off, but apparently one of the problems that caused this whole thing is this pairing between YouTube and Google Plus. Nobody even uses Google Plus. It's like they're trying to force it on us. And the problem was, so we think, best we can tell from the very limited computerized responses we've been getting, is that when you upload a YouTube video, which anybody listening that has gun videos on YouTube needs to go and check this and do this, or not do what I'm about to tell you. So when you upload a video on YouTube, there'll be a box that's checked that says share this on Google Plus.
Yeah. Right.
So we never paid any attention to that. So the videos were getting shared also on Google Plus. And apparently Google Plus has a stricter terms of agreement or stricter rules over there, right? About having gun content and stuff like that.
It depends on what the content is, I'm sure.
Like there's some kind of vague thing about like promoting unregulated items for purchase or something like that.
Illegal weapons, I guess.
Well, but that's the thing. See, and guns fall under that, according to them, from what I've heard. And guns
are legal.
Guns are regulated. It's super regulated.
Yes, they're highly regulated.
They're too regulated.
Yeah, which is one thing that some of the issues that a lot of people are having is that guns are overly regulated.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. So that's just ridiculous. It's a legal item. Why they would be. I don't know. It's crazy.
It's a personal choice. I mean, I think that it's a personal policy, maybe.
Right, and they're private business, so I respect their right to. To do that, but I'm allowed to be mad about it.
True.
And the thing is, they have a monopoly on video, social media, right? That's everybody keeps saying. Like, there's another website called Full 30, which we may consider whatever. We know the guys that run it and stuff, and they're all great people. So it's something we may look into. But the thing is, YouTube is where everybody is. Everybody keeps saying like. Google supports anti-gun organizations and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, they might, but the thing is,
which is fine if they do.
It's their right to do that. But going off of YouTube would completely negate everything that we're trying to do to support the Second Amendment. That's where everybody is.
Yes.
That's the thing. That's where everybody is. So if you're trying to get yourself heard and expose people to safe and responsible firearms use, then you want to be where everybody is.
I think too that YouTube wouldn't want to be seen as freezing anybody out, because if you do have a legitimate issue and your view is correct, why would you try to drown out anybody that was opposed to you?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to be seen as doing that.
Right, exactly. And we're not doing anything. We don't show anything bad in our video. We don't even swear really in our videos.
Promote gun safety and responsible use and legitimate information.
Right.
Responsible gun use.
We don't encourage violence or
exactly.
Like that.
I mean, which I'm sure that's what they're worried about when they talk about the kind of gun videos that they don't want shown is people promoting violence and inappropriate use. Right. Yes, you're right. They shouldn't be on the air. They shouldn't be. But you guys do nothing like that.
Yeah.
Responsibility and being mature and responsible if you're going to have a weapon, which you better be.
Oh yeah, exactly. And so I'm just hoping It was just some weird, screwy Google Plus issue, and now that we've taken, and what I was gonna say is, if you have gun videos, make sure they're not on Google Plus. You know, I mean, really, you got to go there, go to your page, and make sure it's because you're gonna probably have 2 Google Plus pages. Because on YouTube, a lot of times you'll have like a personal YouTube account, and then from your personal account, you'll create the account that you're going to put the videos on. So you got to make sure you're on the right Google Plus account and look under posts. And if your videos are on there, I advise anybody just take them off, because same thing could happen. You know,
it could be issues. There could be issues, yeah. And until maybe we find out what happened and why,
right?
You might need to check on that. Yeah, be alert.
Right, exactly. So that's frustrating, you know.
Very.
It's frustrating too, as you know, a gun owner. We're doing something like we said. Guns they're legal, you know.
Yes.
You know, most of them are, and you still feel like you're under scrutiny, you know. And
it's always going to be that way, especially probably. with the environment, with the political, social environment we have now. Which is why this is a good thing, because you're promoting responsible, mature, adult, professional. Right. Weapons use, especially in the environment we live now, and you don't see people doing that. Too many people. Well, you don't see enough people doing that, and so I don't know why this would be a bad thing. This is a good thing. You know, if you're going to have a weapon, you better be responsible. You better do the right thing,
right?
Because there's going to be a problem.
But everyone deserves the chance to show that they can be responsible with firearms before, until they show that they can't, right?
Yes,
and
exactly.
To me, if somebody hurts somebody with a gun. Okay, well, that person can't, you know? Like, I'm not crazy about this blanket idea of no felons can have guns, honestly, but I could get behind an idea of, if you have used a gun in the commission of, like, a serious crime, and I mean actually used it, not just, like, they found some drugs and you had a gun. Yeah. That's not what I mean. I mean, like, you actually used it. Like, you held somebody up with a gun, you shot somebody with a gun, or whatever. Yeah, even if you had an accidental or negligent, kind of like Will brought up on the last show. If you have a negligent discharge and you hurt somebody, you shoot somebody, I wouldn't be necessarily opposed to that person losing their gun rights.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because a negligent discharge
which is just negligent. Yeah, right. There ain't no accident. You messed up. You did something wrong.
The only accidental gun discharge would be, like, an accidental would be technically one that you had nothing to do with. Yeah. The only way that would happen would be if your gun somehow, like, I don't know, it was just sitting there and the firing pin fell somehow. What's that? Like, never happened.
When?
Yeah. I mean, it could, but it never happens, basically. I mean, I can't imagine really how that would happen.
Nobody else can. I mean, how does that even happen? How do you even imagine that happening?
Right.
Gun firing by itself.
Right. Or, like, I mean, there aren't many things that can actually make a gun fire when no one's touching it. Like, I mean, it'd have to be heated up to a certain temperature, or just something breaks and that's the problem. It's just
virtually,
very unlikely.
it's not impossible, but it's virtually impossible.
Right. So pretty much anytime someone fires a gun, it's on them.
You did something. Yeah.
Right. Now, one distinction, though, I would make is, if you are firing a gun in the protection of your own life.
Yes.
And let's say that bullet passes through someone, hits someone else, or you miss, or something like that. You know, that's different. You know?
Yes, that's
not saying they shouldn't get any repercussions for that, but that's different. You know,
there would be what's called mitigating factors. Yeah, you in the fear of your own life, you fired your gun to protect your life or someone else's, and that round passed through someone and hit a bystander.
Right,
you would still be held responsible, but at the same time, there are mitigating factors. You didn't intend to hit that person.
Right.
I would think the court would take that into account. That, again, mitigating factors. You were trying to protect yourself, and in doing so, that person back there unintentionally was injured.
Right.
So the court would take that into account.
Yeah.
So they would hold you responsible. You'd be responsible, but what they would do would be something else.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and also back to the thing. So with the situation in Google, one thing that I've learned this from other situations too, is I used to be bigger into conspiracy theories than I am now. Like, you know, and I've talked about this some, you know, but I think there are definitely, you know, conspiracies. Like, I mean, it makes sense. It's like,
hey, the men in black are out there.
It could be, you know.
I'm telling you.
like to me, this idea that there's no chance of people conspiring, people who have power and or money conspiring to reach a common goal that is not in the best interest of most people.
Yeah.
Like the idea that never happens to me is ridiculous.
Of course it happens. Come on.
Yeah,
of course it happens.
Of course it happens.
Come on.
So there are definitely some conspiracies, but I don't think there's as many as sometimes people think, or that they're as obvious as people think.
Do I think it happens? Of course it does. Do I think, like you said, is it as common as people think? No, I don't think so.
And I think probably most conspiracies are. Sometimes it's just like, that's just too obvious.
Yeah.
You know, like chemtrails, right? I mean, could they be spraying something in the air? Of course, maybe. But that's a little obvious. Really, like, so they're so careless about it that you can just look up and see it.
People thought the same thing about fluoride in water.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, fluoride. Oh, my God. They're pouring in the water. Okay, dude, it's fluoride, dude. It's for your teeth. Come on, man. I mean, come on.
You know, and also with some things, like, for example, there might very well be something to the chemical fluoride that effects it can have on your brain, but they'll leave out important information like how much it actually takes, and stuff like that. Like, I drink water that, it doesn't have fluoride in it, or it doesn't.
Speaking of that, go ahead.
Like, I usually try to drink spring water if I can, or better water that doesn't have things added into it, because I don't want them to affect my body negatively or whatever. And it's not that. I don't only drink Fiji water. I just
yeah, that's where we're sitting right now. Fiji, by the way, the secret's out.
It's funny on Fiji water. Like, you'll see a lot of like entertainers will have it and stuff like that. Yeah. And Fiji water gets crap because they're like, oh yeah, it's like cool to drink. Well, here's the thing. I've noticed Fiji water for some reason, like when I'll get it for like radio shows and different things that I'm doing sometimes, because it almost seems like it like. It's more minerally. It almost feels like it coats your throat better. I don't know why. It sounds crazy. Yeah.
Thank you. Let's go. Okay, let's go.
Yeah. But I feel like when I drink Fiji water or water that's like it, it's not like it's the only kind that's like that. I feel like my throat doesn't get dry as fast if I'm talking a lot, so that's why. No, that's why sometimes you'll see it people see it on the radio shows. It's not that I spend that much on all my water.
Brought to you by Fiji water, natural artesian water. Brought to you.
Yeah, YouTube doesn't pay that much.
So. That's right. Dude, hey.
Yeah, but if you're talking a lot, I don't know, who knows, it could all be in my head, but it seems to help. I don't know.
People always as far as conspiracy theories goes, people always think that it's something, right? It wasn't just random. I personally think that things just kind of happen.
I think sometimes
sometimes things just kind of happen, and it's just the way it's just life happens. Hopefully this thing that you guys went through was just a hookup, just a hiccup.
Yeah.
And that's all it was. Like you said, move forward, definitely. Right. Don't get fixated, by all means. Let's move forward. And at the same time, let's find out what happened. Yeah, from happening again. Yeah.
So we can keep it from happening again to us and other people.
Exactly. So that's the way forward. That's how you move forward. I don't think anybody should be all up in arms, by God, out there with torches in California in front of Google.
Well, if they shut us down and won't get us back or whatever, I like it if the fans will make their presence known. Like, there was a bunch of people who posted comments on the YouTube Facebook page. I mean, just completely blew it up, and it was great. I loved it because, because like I said, I have a reason to be mad at them. Like,
yes,
they just take down a 1.8 million subscriber channel just on a whim with no real explanation.
For no reason, that's
ridiculous.
Yeah. And they're not really, from what I understand, not really saying anything afterwards. Explain what happened and why, and hey, this is what we're doing to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Right, like that's disrespectful not only to us, but it's disrespectful to the people who enjoy our videos. Exactly. I feel like
that's the way to make that to make it all good. Again, is to explain. Okay, this is what happened. This is why, and this is what we've done to make sure that this is not going to happen again. Everybody be happy.
So. Exactly. So it's like a very strong disrespect issue, with that. But one of the points I was going to make about the conspiracy theory thing, I'll start out with a thing, and then it's like it's going this direction, then it goes over here, and it's like, oh no, we got to come back here,
no problem,
and then on the way back here, it's like, oh,
we'll get back to it eventually.
Yeah. I just hopefully we're like saying interesting things along the way. That's what I hope at least.
Hopefully, yeah.
So maybe it doesn't matter too much, but anyways, the point I was going to make about conspiracy theories is one of the things that kind of helped open my eyes to the fact that like every conspiracy theory on the internet is not necessarily true. Not that I was ever that bad about it, but because I've been on the inside of something. Like it started kind of with the Glock thing, like because Dad and I like Glocks, right, and always have since before YouTube ever existed.
What?
Honestly,
YouTube didn't exist. Wait,
yeah,
there was a time when YouTube didn't.
There
exist.
was, yeah.
What?
I mean, Dad was one of the first people to shoot the Glock 22 and 40 cal, like back when there was only like one brand making 40 caliber ammo.
Oh my god!
And it was like carry ammo, and you had to buy it in little 20 round boxes. Dad's had Glock since day one, so this idea and people have that we're like paid by Glock to promote them.
Straight out Austria, yeah.
Right, and you can't. Some people just can't be convinced. They can't be convinced that it's not true. But which. Whatever, people are going to believe what they want to believe.
Exactly, I was about to say that. Yeah. Some people they have it in their mind. It's this way, and there's nothing you can do about it.
It doesn't really bother me that much, but it has taught me something because this is like with any conspiracy, it doesn't matter what it is. Like I wasn't in the the Oval Office when they made that decision. I don't really know.
That's right.
You know what I mean? No matter what it is, or even things that I'm pretty sure happened, I can still never be 100% sure. But now with this situation, I can be. I am 100% sure in my own mind. No one can see it. I could be lying right now, but I know inside my own mind that we've never been paid by Glock. That they don't even really like us.
What? Come on, you're on the key.
Yeah.
You're all about Glock.
Oh, trust me, it blows my mind too.
You guys been there since day one. They don't like it. What?
They don't give a damn about us. At the very most, early on, they would let us like borrow guns.
Okay.
But every other company wouldn't charge us shipping. They just sent, here's the gun, here's the label, and send it back. It didn't cost us anything.
Yeah.
But Glock makes us pay the shipping even. They don't give a damn about us. But so anyways, I know this, right? I know like this is one thing in life I can be 100% sure about.
So, but of course, the other ones people think are paying you.
Right. So I see. So this is an example where I know something 100%.
Okay.
And then I see people who don't believe me. So it makes me go, huh? How many other things are there out there like this? Right? Like there's. Where people in the government know how they know because they were there, 100% like what happened, but yet people are coming up with all these different theories and stuff.
That's also there's something called disinformation too.
Right.
There's the truth and there's what people believe, and if you just want people to the way to throw people off the scent is that you put out disinformation.
Right.
Yeah, this may be true, but then you put out this conspiracy theory about this conspiracy theory about that, and then that's going to throw people off the scent. It's a red herring.
Yeah.
So you just do what you can. I mean,
I had this kind of theory. I guess this isn't too edgy for the show, but I had this theory about how the Roswell, New Mexico thing. Maybe I said this before. I can't remember.
Roswell.
But, yeah.
Here we go.
I have this Roswell theory.
Here we go.
Right.
That's where the Glock came from. I knew it.
That's right. Yeah.
I knew it.
That there was actually a dual conspiracy theory, a dual cover-up. I meant, so I should say there was actually a dual cover-up by the government.
Okay.
The weather balloon was like the first level of cover up.
Okay.
And then the second level of cover up might have actually been the alien story. Right?
Okay.
So let's think about this.
Okay, yeah.
If you're the government, and which you're not, but if you were,
okay.
If you were the government and you were experimenting with some technology that you didn't want anybody to know you had.
Okay.
Like anybody, not our enemies, nobody. And something went wrong and it crashed, and someone found it, and they were like, they knew it was like some real next level stuff they'd never seen before, and you were really dead set on keeping that a secret. Well, if you said it was a weather balloon or anything like that, people they're savvy are not going to buy it.
Yeah.
But you also can't just publicly say it's an alien either, right? Because then they're gonna be like, "Oh, really? Okay, so show us what's it look like, and what right?" So you have to have some kind of mundane official story.
Yeah,
and then
real bland,
Yeah, and if people don't believe that, then they'll go for the other one, which is that it was some kind of alien.
Okay.
Crap. So people are either going to believe it was just a weather balloon or it was an alien, and they won't even consider that maybe it was actually something that the government did. Now, I could be totally wrong, of course, because I wasn't there. I don't know, but that's just a theory I have.
What you believe? Okay, and you're right. And the way another way for disinformation is don't say anything. Right. And then at the same time, you disperse out, you leak out this story or that story.
Yeah.
And then people, one thing about people, if they hear something enough, all of a sudden they start believing it.
Right.
Or if you get people, they'll tell what they heard, which you've seen examples of that. They'll tell what they heard over and over and over again. It started out, it was just a story. I heard it somewhere. Then after they tell them enough, all of a sudden, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, their opinion is truth. So again, it's great. It's a way that to get disinformation out there.
Right.
It's a way to cover your tracks because you didn't really say anything. Yeah. But you let other people tell the story for you, and they're going to tell different versions of it.
And it muddies the water.
And now nobody's really clear about what really happened.
Yeah. And one thing, too, is sometimes there can be like half conspiracies, like, okay, and now, first I want to preface this with, I'm not saying that this is what I think happened. This is strictly an example of what I mean when I say half conspiracy.
Okay.
And there can also be 3/4 or 1/4 conspiracy.
7/8.
13/20.
It depends on how much you want.
Right, exactly. All right, so let's take 9/11, for example, the Twin Towers, right? Okay. So first you've got, the official story.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is that, terrorists, hijacked airplanes, led by Osama bin Laden, crashed them into the buildings, and then the whatever they heated up or something, the buildings fell, and that's what happened. So that's the official story, and then the conspiracy theory, like I guess is like the full throttle conspiracy theory, I guess, would be something to the effect of that the Bush administration, the actual government,
I've heard that,
used, some people say missiles, remote planes, and they had explosives,
prepositioned in the building
to take it down or whatever. There's even people who can go as far as to say alien technology was used just to cover the basis of the full-on conspiracy theory. So,
you lost me at alien technology. All right.
So we've got official story, and then the
theories,
So, and here's something you don't hear people talk about is there's always and I'm not saying I think this happens. This is just an example I'm using of what sometimes how something could be, maybe that we don't realize is. Let's say, hypothetically, because there is evidence that shows that maybe there were explosives preset in the building. Let's say we weren't attacked by terrorists. What if we were actually attacked by a country or an organization that actually was more sophisticated than the government wants us to know?
Ooh,
right?
Scary.
And let's say they infiltrated work crews or something like that, and they did actually plant explosives in the buildings. And they worked with the terrorists, and maybe there really were planes that crashed into the buildings, and then they set off the explosives at the same time, which is what took the buildings down. And the cover-up is not that the government was involved in it. The cover-up is that they can't tell people what really happened, because if they did, people would be clamoring.
What the hell? Why didn't you know about this? Why didn't you burst this open before it happened? Yeah.
That, or they'd be clamoring to go to war with those people. Like, I don't want to say any names because that could incite.
Oh my God!
I'm trying to think of a way if I could explain this without actually mentioning any names. Okay,
the fear is that it's a country or government that was supposedly allied to the United States.
Well, okay, how about this? Let's say country A. Let's say country A is actually who took down the Twin Towers. But we know that the only way we're going to actually be able to get to country A is if we go into country B first and set something up, right? So we say that it came from country B. so that the support will be from the people to go to country B, because that's where we said it came
because
from.
of America, you're not going to be able to have a war unless you got the people behind it. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And then that way the government can go in and do what they need to do to actually get to country A and so I'm not saying that I think that's what happens, but
that's a theory of what possibly.
But that's just an example of like how sometimes we can take conspiracies too far. Not far enough, no. But like how we have to be aware of the fact that just because it looks like the government covered something up, it doesn't necessarily mean absolutely they were in on it, or these people were in on it, or whatever. There's lots of different reasons why the government might cover something up.
I've heard this, and I think I have to agree at some level. Do we need to know everything the government's doing?
I mean, probably not. It'd probably be bad for
I mean, I think at a certain level, being fair.
Yeah.
I think at some levels, do we need to know everything they're doing? I mean, I understand disclosure and all that. Yes, being transparent, very important. Yeah, on most things, yeah.
Right.
But I think at certain levels, certain things, not all. I'm not going to even guess as to what.
Right.
But certain things, I think that do we really need to know? Come on. I mean, does average Joe need to know what they're doing as far as this, that, or the other thing? Depending on what it is, maybe not.
Right.
But there's always going to be conspiracy theories, always, because that's the way people are.
Right.
There's always going to be a theory.
Right. Because that's the fundamental flaw why, in a way, government is kind of a catch-22, because while one, you want the people to be in power so that they can make decisions, well, the people aren't informed. One way, for two reasons. One, because most people don't actually even care or look stuff up. And then two, there's certain secret information that can't be made public.
And there's also disinformation too.
Well, because to keep it secret.
That's a problem. And Dick Cheney, I read somewhere. I wish I could cite it. He said that they asked him. He was doing something, and they said, "Well, Mr. Secretary, people are against this. Polls are showing this. Polls are showing that." And Dick Cheney said, "So what?
Yeah,
we're in charge.
Yeah,
the people elected us to make decisions, and we're going to do that." Which I have to give them that. I'll have to give the old school Reagan guys, the old school Bush guys that.
Yeah.
We are in charge. You put us up here to take charge and to get things done. That's what we're going to do.
And that's where it gets tricky, because I want to, hate that idea and be like, no, the people, we need to have a say, which we do. We definitely do.
We do.
Because the government can easily get tyrannical, and we have to watch out for that. But there's also an element of like, there's things that they know that we don't know. And, would the country benefit by everybody knowing that? Maybe, maybe not, because we don't know what we don't know. I mean, there might be some secrets that, like, and I've always had this idea that there might be some secrets that the government knows, President Obama knows, or whatever, that if you actually were told those secrets, you'd go, oh, yeah, okay. All right. I get why you did that now. You know what I mean?
Okay. I got to pull a movie reference.
Okay.
The first Men in Black.
Yeah,
the first bit with Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith, and Will Smith. But when he was being recruited into the Men in Black, he said the same thing. Look, all this stuff is out there. Why don't you just tell people? People can handle it. And Tommy Lee Jones said, "Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Yeah. People are panicky and dangerous. Because if people hear the wrong thing, they get emotional, they get panicky." I'll say this about the government: we elect our officials to do us in our best interest.
Yeah.
Now, if they don't, in a democracy, which I think we still are, I'm not sure.
Yep.
We have the option of unelecting them, of throwing them out. Now, I gotta say this: if we don't vote, do we have a right to complain? It's still an elected government.
I would say yes if you don't, because
ouch. Ouch.
Because there might not be anyone that you want to vote for. And
good.
Just, you know what I'm saying? Just because if you don't feel like you're represented doesn't necessarily mean that you have to pick somebody,
Good, true. Oh, counterpoint for that too. I heard this guy on Bill Maher, which I love his show, by the way.
It is, I'd say, even though he's anti-gun and stuff.
He's funny. I love him. He's anti-gun, but he carries a gun too.
I've heard that. Yeah.
So he says, "I got a gun, but I'm going to talk crap." He says that one of the guests on the show said, "It's very easy for us to sit here and complain. But if you have the answers, if you have a better way, get out there and run for office.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I mean, so stop. It's very easy to sit back and sharpshoot guys that are in charge. But I gotta say this: I'm not giving anybody a pass. I'm not giving anybody a pass. But I'll say this: once you're sitting in the big chair in Washington or in the Capitol building, once you're sitting in the big chair, you got a whole lot more to deal with than just what's going on in local politics or just some of the big issues.
Right.
And you're put in a position that you got all these people under you or in the government. You're trying to get everybody to work together. And believe me, that's a pain.
Right.
So I say, look, instead of complaining, folks, if you got some good ideas, you got a better way, let's get out there and run. Let's get out there and run. Let's get your message out there, whoever you are. And if people are behind you, they'll vote for you. They'll put you in office, and let's get something done.
Right.
But that's the come I think. I don't really whine about the government because my voting record ain't been too good. Yeah. So I went, okay. Yeah. I don't really have a right to complain. So, hey, okay, whatever. Hey, whoever's up there in D.C., you got it.
I would say you still do. I think it's important for people. I think I try really hard to be less opinionated. Like I try not to be too opinionated about things because I think that's part of the problem is people don't even. And that was a lot of like what I was talking about with the conspiracy thing is that people can't be open-minded enough sometimes.
Yes, exactly.
To like, and everyone loves to use that word open-minded, and it's kind of condescending in a way, and I don't mean it in that sense because like, oh, you're just not open-minded enough to see it how I see it.
Yeah. You can't see my opinion, so you're closed-minded.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the problem is.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't mean it in that way. I mean it even in just like whatever things that you believe and whatever. It's like at least just. Like we don't know what we don't know,
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to the government. And I'm not trying to give them a pass. There's tons of things I'm pissed off about with the government, of course. And there's tons of things about the government where it doesn't matter what secrets they are that they have or whatever. Like with guns, there's no a secret that is being kept at bay as the real reason why machine guns aren't legal. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, the ruling alien class doesn't like them. So I mean, no.
That green guy whispering in Obama's ear, hey, okay.
Yeah.
Look, guns, no. Okay, got it. Okay, sure.
Yeah, no. So there's tons of things, obviously, to be pissed about the government at. But I do think that, we should try to keep in mind we don't know what we don't know. Is all
okay. Not giving anybody a pass. I got to keep prefacing that. Not giving anybody a pass. I got to say this. At the same time, I think it's got to be fair to realize here in America, if you're in charge of this mug, whoa, what a headache. Yeah. I don't know who would want to be president. Personally.
Yeah.
All right, who would want the job?
Oh, I know. I mean, society is such a complicated thing.
Exactly. We are so complicated. We are so diverse, which is good.
Right.
But at the same time, when it tries to get everybody to go, trying to get everybody to act for the common good is a problem because everybody got different ideas what the common good is.
Right.
So do some people wish we had a king? I think some people do at some level.
Yeah.
Just okay, enough with this democracy stuff. Just this and that.
Right. Less fighting.
Less fighting. But the problem is, what if he starts saying stuff that ain't in line that's not for the common good,
right.
that isn't for everybody, that only helps some people but not others? Now we got a problem.
And look what always happens whenever there's a king or a dictator.
Remember the last time we had a king here?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Or even just like a dictator,
Oh yeah. That don't work out too well.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And that's what makes it tough is that, you want people to have a say, but again, the government, there's certain things that they can't necessarily tell people, so it gets really tricky, I guess. I mean,
yes, it's governing America is so complicated, so like you said, tricky, that I wouldn't want the job. I ain't gonna lie, I would want the job.
Yeah.
And I think okay, again, not giving anybody a pass.
Yeah.
I think that we have our issues, we complain about it, but at the same time, who wants that job? Right. I can't think why anybody want to be president personally. Just for the headache.
Oh, no. And, you think about it, a lot of the things that, laws and different things that people argue about and complain about, like, no, I think this should be legal or I think this shouldn't be this way or whatever. A lot of times it comes down to, like, a lot of these laws are in place for, like, a minority. And when I say minority, I don't mean minorities. I mean...
Got it. Got it.
A minority of people that just screws everything up. You know what I'm saying? Like guns. The only reason that gun laws are even a part of the conversation is because there's out there that hurt people.
They do the wrong thing. They do the wrong thing the wrong way. You're right. Exactly. There's always that one idiot rule. No matter how sensible things are, no matter how plain obvious it is that you should do this, do that, there's always that one idiot back there that's going to do the wrong thing the wrong way.
Right.
And
so you could almost argue that education is almost like the most important factor in a society.
Yeah, exactly. Like an example of idiots. That guy with the 10-year-old girl on that got patted down on the airplane.
I think I heard something.
She was trying to. She had a juice box or something. Trying to bring it on the airplane, which you can allow. No liquids are allowed on the aircraft.
Explosive juice box.
That's right. That's right. She was a 10-year-old girl. The guy's daughter was a 10-year-old girl, which I hope his daughter was a girl. She tried to bring a juice box on the aircraft, which set off the alarm. So the TSA did a pat down, which they filmed it. It was completely appropriate, but the parents were outraged. My God, my daughter was upset. What are you doing letting your kid bring liquid onto your aircraft when you know you cannot do that?
It's true. Yeah, they have very clear set rules.
Exactly. But there's always the one idiot. This guy knew that, but he's out. I think he's faking all this outrage.
Yeah.
He's looking for a reality show or a paycheck. I'm telling you. So again, that one idiot. Everybody knew that, but this guy thought, "Oh, I'm the exception."
Right.
Years ago, I heard about the guy and some guy in LAX was in a hurry and he jumped a turnstile and ran down the concourse.
What a terrible idea.
What are you thinking, dude? Again, there's always the one idiot.
Yeah.
So again, people. That's just people being people.
Exactly. So a lot of the problems we have in our society and arguments come over just a few idiots.
That got him. That guy. Yeah. So
exactly.
You always have to play to the lowest denominator. If common sense ain't common,
right,
and that's why we have a lot of the issues we have now.
Yeah. Or you can almost argue common sense is common, but
except for him,
it only takes a few to screw it up for the rest of us.
Exactly. Old West, most people didn't even carry weapons.
Yeah,
because carrying a weapon, if you're like riding herd or working cattle, working on farm, I'm here to tell you, carrying around especially them big 1868 single action armies, they get in the way.
They probably, I would say most of them at least had a rifle in there.
Close by, in the scabbard on the horse up against the tree because you better have a weapon close by because you didn't know.
The Indians, yeah.
You didn't know.
I'm sure it depended on the territory for sure.
Wolves, wild animals, jerks coming over the hill. You didn't know.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but people, going into town, getting drunk, shooting up the place. That's a problem.
Right.
That's a problem.
It's like we're solving the world's problems here.
Of course. What was the problem? Well, okay, UN, anything else?
Yeah.
While we're here, anything else? Okay, good. Call us if you need us.
I'm tired of the damn UN and all their roundabouts they're putting here.
Okay, let's just get down. Okay, I got a piece of paper here. All right, problem one. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you mean? Ain't that simple? What's the problem? Not that easy? Come on.
I don't know. It depends on how you look at it, whether to be, look at the way society is moving to be optimistic or not. I mean, I always try to be optimistic, but
be optimistic because
because you can always be optimistic.
Yeah, you can always be optimistic because all we can really do is hope for the best.
Right.
We're going to do the best we can. We're going to do everything we can to make sure things happen, do the right thing the right way, and that's all we can do. And we're going to hope for the best. That's all we can do. Being, oh my God, we're going to hell in a handbasket. Okay, it's been that way for. It's always that way. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Like that guy in Philadelphia that blasted the cop.
Which guy?
Some guy.
To be honest,
this guy in Philadelphia, 2 days ago, claimed to be working for ISIS. Walked up to a Philadelphia cop and let him have 12 rounds, point blank range. Says he did it for Al Qaeda. ISIS, because he believes American law is anti-Muslim and forces anti-Sharia is contrary to Sharia law.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not good.
Yeah.
That is not good for many reasons, and here we go. Okay.
And that's a cultural
exactly.
problem.
Or some guy that hijacked culture to excuse his nutcase behavior.
Right.
Exactly. Which I think, I haven't heard anything else about it, but I think a lot of it, that's what it is.
Yeah.
This guy had issues beforehand, and he hijacked the ISIS Muslim culture to use it to do his dumb crap.
Right.
So that's what I think. That's what I think really happened.
Right. Yeah. These things are like seeded in some type of culture,
Exactly.
and then it's just like like the the gang violence in the inner city and stuff, right? There's like, it's seated in this culture of like, it's cool to be like the man on the corner with, who's got the best dope and all this kind of stuff.
It's the only lifestyle. There's only examples, only lifestyle they're exposed to.
Right.
And unfortunately, I think we're to the point where we're kind of used to it. I hate to say accept it, but definitely used to it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a tough thing to reverse. Whenever somebody or a group of people get it in their head that it's cool to behave in a certain way, like it's just really hard, to change that. It's like, that's why I'm kind of like an advocate of ending the drug war, because I kind of look at it like, it's like, I don't know. Well, I can't think of a good example, but to me, like that's the only way you're actually going to eliminate this.
Take out the profit, which from what I understand, I haven't done any research yet. The legalization out there in Colorado and Washington, I talked to that certain kind of person, businessman.
Yeah.
Does it hurt them? And they said yes. As far as profit margin has gone down because you got legal dope out there now.
Yeah.
But it don't go away because you can still undersell the government dope.
Right. But I don't think most people will just not want to deal with the hassle and just buy the...
Exactly. That's what this individual told me. He says that people that go to the dispensaries, they go because they don't want to have to go meet anybody anywhere. They don't have to worry about if the police are around. They want to stop by. On the way back from Kroger, I'm going to go by the dispensary and get my my Hawaiian whatever, and then come on to the house.
Right.
They don't want to. They want a nice, safe environment. They want to know it's good, it's legal. I guess pure, well made. Well grown.
Like somebody hasn't,
laced it with something.
Which,
exactly.
Yeah, which I've heard is very uncommon. It's kind of like the razor blades and an apple at Halloween.
That's a good reference.
It's kind of like on par with that. But hey, it's a completely unregulated thing, and it's done by unscrupulous people.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Because you sort of have to be to not care about breaking the law.
Exactly.
In that sense,
and you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're messing up your own customers. Why would you do that?
Yeah, exactly.
But I think some states are going more toward medicinal use anyway.
Right.
Also, some of these that's the oil. THC oils are becoming more legal in some situations, and as a paramedic, I'm here to tell you, there are a lot more stronger prescription stuff out there we need to worry about.
And I think I can't remember where it is. It's somewhere in England or somewhere. There's a place which I think is a really interesting model. There's a place where they took like marijuana is. I think it's going to be legal. Like it's going to be.
It's coming. I think it's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Right. But now the harder drugs.
Yeah.
Like making marijuana legal will help a lot with the gang violence because that's where a lot of the money comes from because there's the most demand for it.
Yeah.
But now with the harder drugs, that's where you have like the real addicts and stuff, with like coke, heroin, and crack and meth and all that. There's a place, I don't know, I can't remember exactly where it is, but there's a place somewhere. I saw a documentary about it where they have this system where it's a building that's like a free zone. It's like a safe zone, right, for addicts. And they go in, and I don't know if they have to pay for it or not, how it works, but they can go in and do their drugs. They have to do it there.
I think I saw the same one. I think it might have been British Columbia or something like that.
Yeah.
Canada.
It was Russell Brand was the one he was the host of it.
Okay, it might be a different one. I saw something. I'm leaning toward British Columbia, Vancouver, Canada, somewhere like that. Okay. They have a real drug issue there, like everywhere.
Yeah.
One day they give these people, okay, look, you come here. If you're gonna do it, you come here.
Right.
Safe needle, clean needles.
Right.
A safe environment. You do your thing. It's private. It's not government run. It's a privately run place. And then you just go on your way. Which I kind of see. I see the logic behind it. If you're gonna do it, okay, right here, man. It's a safe place. But at the same time, I guess they're offering. I'm assuming they offer treatment too.
I think so. Well, here's the thing. So you could argue that, like, well, if they have to do it there, they're not going to want to do that. They'd rather be in their house, But here's the thing, though. Try to think of it in terms of, like, if you're an addict, right? There's a thing that you have to have. Like, you've got to have it, whatever it takes. Well, especially if they offered it for free or like really cheap, because if the reason that drugs are expensive is because they're illegal. Most of what you're paying for is the risk of that person to bring it to you. So they could be dirt cheap compared to on the street. And maybe it sucks you have to go sit in this public place to do it, but you're going to get it.
True. Which I think that's what eventually the urge is going to draw you there.
Right. Exactly. And then once you get in there, well, you're less likely to be, get sick or ill, and then be a burden on the health system.
Yes, and I think that will keep the crime down to would slightly reduce it because they're here.
Exactly. Like eventually, if there was enough of these facilities, it would completely cripple the illegal drug market, which will cripple the gangs, which will cripple the violence that goes along with it eventually. Which
I think one thing that people don't talk enough about is that. Prescription drugs are almost, I have to think, almost as big a problem now as illegal drugs.
And they tried to, at least locally, I know, they tried to shut down, pill mills, as they call them, and try to stop that from happening. People going in and saying, I got back pain, and, getting narcotics.
People handing that stuff out like candy.
Yeah, but the problem is they made the situation worse because now heroin has just boomed like
Which has been a strong comeback, by God. An old drug from the past, but came off heroin, came off the bench.
Yeah. I mean, Kurt Cobain's come back from the dead. He's like, what? Heroin's back?
I'm back too. You should laugh. I mean,
it's a terrible thing to laugh at.
But heroin's been out there for a while. It's had its ups and downs, but heroin's made a comeback. Way before all this other stuff like crack and coke and all that. Heroin's an old school drug.
And that's bad because it's where it involves needles
which from I understand, IV drug users are the lowest of the low.
Yeah, probably because at the end of the AIDS and and it's a mess.
I think that in some of that place I worked, some of these former heroin users, I mean, the extent, the things they will do to get their my God, I mean.
It's bad. It's
knowing
really
that, there's a lot of reasons people use. A lot of reasons. Yeah. But I would think, which makes me wonder, as someone who's never done it, why would you ever do that?
Yeah.
Because seeing what you did, what? Oh, hell no, not me.
That's always been my logic. Like heroin supposedly it's like one of the best feelings you could ever imagine. Yeah. Which is the best reason to not do it.
To not do it. Exactly.
Because it's all you're going to want to do.
I stopped someone at the other job. This individual had I got my spider sense tingled. And I got, whoa. I tell you what, let me check your bag. And then she opened up that bag, and then she had a Oxycontin bottle in there with someone else's name on it.
Yeah.
And I opened up, and there was, I'm not sure. I was not sure. It might have been heroin. Inside. Yeah. You need to take that back. Yeah. You're gone. You're done here. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
So it's scary. It's scary out there. The fact that not one that people are. It's a tragedy that people get addicted to it and everything that comes with that. And it's scary that there are new users coming out every day.
And I'll even extend that to say that when people are addicted to it, that is the tragedy. But if people, for some reason, if somebody decides like, I don't care if it makes me unhealthy, I just think that's a great feeling, and I want to enjoy that feeling. Then I support their choice to do that. A person, even though suicide is technically illegal, there's nothing stopping a person from committing suicide. There's no stopping that. If a person can take their own life, they should be able to at least have some wreck their body and have fun doing it.
Or right to die. I think you got a point. I've heard other people say the same thing. If you choose to go that route, which other countries, which some of the places I've been to, that's exactly how they feel. You know what, dude? If you want to shoot heroin and you're still a piece of crap.
Yeah.
But it's your business.
Right.
And I remember this one place I was at, man, there were people laying out in the street, needles still in the arm.
Yeah.
And these people just stepped over them.
Yeah.
Like you wasn't there. And one looked like somebody's mom, like your stereotypical soccer mom out there effed up. And the people like, okay, her business, which I do see that. I do see that attitude, that logic is like, hey, why is it my problem that you want to do that?
Right.
Which it can be an issue here in America, is that people feel like we have to be, oh man, okay, tread lightly. You have to, it's their business, but at the same time, if they're a burden to society,
right,
that's a problem. That's a problem.
Right.
Or my attitude is like, look, you can do what you want until you endanger someone else.
Or, I don't know, like, I don't like regulation, but at least make it a way for us to do things. If people wanted to engage in some type of activity, there should be a way for them to do it. So let's say like maybe there's a special kind of insurance you have to get. Like let's say the government sets up now. Like marijuana is different. Like that
Yeah.
really should be treated the same as alcohol. But let's say that for harder drugs, if you want,
your hard course. Yeah.
they're available in some type of facility where you can get them, but they're only available to you if you have a certain type of insurance.
You meet this criteria. Yeah, you have to meet the criteria.
Right. And if people really want to do it, like I think it would still have an effect on crippling the street market, just because the price would be so low that people would be like, all right, fine, whatever I have to do,
True. And I think that the biggest problem, I think, is with illegal drug use is irresponsibility.
Right.
I think marijuana would be legal today.
Yeah, just like with, well, never mind. That was a bad example.
Marijuana would be legal today if people would use it responsibly.
Right.
And, okay, you won't get screwed up. You'll get screwed up as if the F word. I used the letter F was too strong. Okay.
Yeah, exactly,
Okay.
Yeah.
If you will get screwed up, then sit in your house and do what you gotta do, and then thank you, and then once you come down, have a nice day.
Right.
The problem is that I told someone that, and this young person told me that well, that's boring. That's why the stuff's illegal today, dude. That's why. Okay, you want to get messed up? That is your business.
Yeah.
Once you go outside that door and get behind the wheel of that car, you're endangering me, my family, and everybody else. That's a problem.
Right.
That's a problem. So people not being responsible, doing stupid things, now that's an issue. That's why you can't trust people to do the right thing.
Right, exactly. And then you move into like what we talk about with guns is like how much of a negative impact is this really having on society, and the whole safety versus freedom thing. Like, because to me there's a point to where like some bad things are going to happen. Like with guns, for example, like there's always going to be some element of gun violence.
Yes.
Right.
Because they're out there now. There's you can't close the box now. Pandora's box is open. There's no going back.
Right. Which I said the term gun violence. That reminds me of something I meant to cover that I've heard people talk about. There's people on our side of the Second Amendment that say like the term gun violence is ridiculous because guns by themselves don't commit violence. Which
true.
I get that, and I don't use that word that often. But the reality of the situation is like if you say you can't, what are you supposed to say? People violence? Like if I want to refer to people using guns to hurt other people, it's a lot easier to say gun violence than it is to say people violence or people with guns violence. You know what I'm saying? So it's like let's
firearm altercation. How's that?
Hey, we all want to have guns. We all support the Second Amendment. Let's chill out with the word about the terms too much.
Yeah,
that's just kind of like with assault rifle. I don't use that term because I don't know. It's not that relevant to the modern guns we use.
Any weapon can be used to assault.
Yeah, it's a rifle, whatever.
Stick.
Yeah, call it what it is. But still, I don't worry about that much. Assault rifle. Oh no, this person used the term assault rifle. Now all of our guns are going to get banned. Who cares? It's just a word.
Something that's to scare people. That the news uses to scare people.
Right. Exactly. But anyways, that's kind of how we just have to decide as a society how much. Are we can we put up with to have a free society? That's always been the thing.
True. Well, people want their freedom, but at the same time, are they willing to be responsible for it?
Right.
The minute something happens, oh no, ban this, ban that. Well, if you're gonna have freedom, you gotta expect a certain level of irresponsibility. I don't know if that's right to say, but I think it's true.
And that's why I would say, like, at the very least, give me anything that I want to do that's not hurting someone else. At least give me a reasonable way to do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to machine guns, fully automatics, right? I would love for there to be just be able to go to the gun shop and buy an M60 if I want to.
1934, baby.
I would love that. About machine guns, the real thing that bothers me is the fact that that whole like 1986 thing where they're so expensive. Like an M60 would cost $25,000-$30,000 or more. Which is just ridiculous. Like the paperwork, it sucks. But it's like, and I'm not condoning it. I don't like that either. But it's like, at least there's a way for me to do it. You know what I mean?
Yes. And okay, I think we should be reasonable too. Even if they were machine guns, M60 or MG42 from 1942. Yeah. How many people could really afford one?
Yeah.
Even if you could, but
it would still be, even at the regular market price, it'd still be pretty expensive.
Yeah. If you just go get one, it would still be, it ain't gonna be cheap.
Well, it's just like the BARs what's the company? there's a company that makes that makes new BARs. They're semi-automatic. I think they're like $4,500 or something like that.
Whoa!
And there's no laws that make them that expensive. It's just because it's
people will pay
expensive gun to make.
Well,
it's
that
huge
too.
and,
it's that too, and people will pay it.
Yeah,
people will pay it because they would be making them if people weren't buying them.
Right, and it's also kind of like a special interest kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know how things like that are. They'll be more expensive than they really should be, but they kind of have to be because you can't sell many.
Because that guy's going to go, I got a BAR.
Right.
Hey.
Exactly.
Even if they were, I think, being realistic, if machine guns were legal to have, I don't think that many people. I don't think you see that many of them out there. Because they're not getting the cost. Even if they were legal, they'd still be exorbitant with the cost. Right. And then ammunition.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be
Yeah. And there's this idea that like, oh man, if machine guns were more legal, gangsters would have them. Like to me, like
I think gangsters doing pretty good now.
Yeah. To me, the 1-2 punch to really make a huge difference in stopping so much violence in this country. That I wish more people could. Here I go again, saying like more people think like me. Damn it! Why don't you think like me?
What's your problem?
But I do feel like a 1-2 punch that would make such a huge difference would be like in the drug war in a reasonable way, in some way like we talked about, not just flat out like gas stations selling crack. That's not what I'm saying.
I get give me 5 unleaded and 2 rocks of crack.
Yeah, right.
Get on the highway here.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be some sense behind it.
Yes. Okay.
But legalizing drugs enough to basically squash almost completely the drug game.
Certain drugs.
I would say you kind of have to do all of them, otherwise it's not going to do anything.
Yeah, the only problem I got with that is some of them are incredibly dangerous, and I think another problem with the problem with drugs is addiction. That's the problem,
right? And you might have some point there because if you stop the big ones, like let's say you're probably thinking of meth, right?
And they got pill form morphine now. Molly?
Okay, well let's say that we only made legal psychedelics, cocaine, which would also be crack, but cocaine and heroin, opiates. So psychedelics, opiates, and coke products. So those 3, we made those available enough to where like the drug trade was pretty much dead. So even with meth still being illegal, it would still have a market and stuff, but there would not be the other ones to really help prop it up, because it's like if you're a big time drug dealer, like you kind of have to sell all of it. Like if just one thing, I don't know if would be enough demand for it, and if the other ones are more accessible, maybe people would switch to those. I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but basically what I'm trying to say though, I think that a 1-2 punch would be if you made guns more accessible and got rid of these gun-free zones, all this nonsense like this, and did something to make a serious blow to the illegal drug market by making them more like available to people, which sounds kind of ridiculous, I'm sure, to some people, but that 1-2 punch I feel like would make such a big difference in violence.
True, and I think it's not the use of illegal drugs that causes violence.
It's the control of it.
The control of it and the dealing of it. That's what the money is.
Exactly.
I think the tragedy is that the people get addicted to these things. And I can't see why anybody, meth, why would you ever start using that?
Right.
Ever. I think the fact that you even consider doing that, that's a problem right there.
Yeah.
That you even consider doing it. And I heard one dope man tell me, he says, hey, look, if I didn't sell it to him, somebody else would. And the money is ridiculous, at which this individual who used to deal in that before he went to prison, he made over $25K a week. How?
Yeah, I can believe it.
You can't. I mean, are you kidding? I mean, dude.
Well, the problem is, like, I heard this local ad one time, and it's real big around the rural areas, which I'm familiar with.
Unfortunately,
yeah.
not that you're from a rural area, but
I don't look like it.
That's right.
But it's they had this ad, it was like meth stops now, and I was thinking, no, it doesn't.
No, it don't.
All you did was make it maybe a little more expensive. That's all you did.
Yeah, I mean, every year and don't forget marijuana ain't went anywhere either, because every summer the Kentucky National Guard has a little mini war in eastern Kentucky up there, burning down dope fields, searching them out, burning them. It's a little mini war. They have it every year.
Yeah.
It's a tradition. So,
but it's such a recipe for disaster, though, which people think about more. It's like you take a bunch of people who are willing to break laws and are desperate maybe and don't really give a damn about much, and you say, here, take all these goods that are real valuable, and you're going to make yourselves rich, but we're not going to tell you how to do it. Just do it. Of course, it's going to be like the Wild West, and it is.
Yeah. Which one thing I don't understand about meth, we've seen the results of meth use. I stopped at the gas station in a certain place that should remain nameless.
Yeah.
And this individual asked me for some money for gas, and there was two of them. There was a male and a female. The female came over and asked me for money for gas. Okay, sure. I walk over there to the pump, and the dude that was with her had his hoodie up, and he pulled that thing back, and he was a picker. He picked the external layer of skin off his face, which is a sign of meth use.
Yeah.
And I was like, his entire surface layer, the subcutaneous layer of skin, the top layer of skin on his face was gone. And only way I can describe it is imagine an anatomical picture of the muscles of the face, and that's what his face looked like.
That's scary.
And I was like, I'm pretty sure I hit it pretty well. I was like, oh my God. I saw that and I thought, why would anybody do drugs if it has that effect on you?
Yeah.
But a lot of these people just can't help themselves. I mean,
it's gradual.
Exactly. It doesn't come. It ain't like you're not at that level that quick. Like you said, it's a gradual escalation to that. But you can't say you didn't know.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, in this world, you can't say you don't know the effect that illegal drugs have on you. You can't say that.
Yeah.
So why would you ever do that? Yeah. But I don't know. And
there's certain things like. Everybody deals with self-control on some level.
Yes.
But there are certain things that you just know you don't do.
Yes. Absolutely.
I might slip up and eat 2 pieces of pie instead of one. I've been known to do that.
That's right. Oh, man. Yeah. Must be rough. Yeah. Must be rough.
Yeah. But I'm not going to slip up and try heroin. I'm not going to.
That's a big jump.
I'm not going to slip up and not be safe with guns or not check a gun or point one at somebody intentionally playing around. I'm never going to do that.
You're not going to be out there on that corner going, hey, man, you got some apple pie. Come on, man. Yeah. What do you need? You're not going to be doing that.
Exactly. So it's like, everybody has an issue with self-control, but we all have a limit, and it's and there's some people, I guess, who just don't.
I think addictive behavior, they have an addictive personality. They have issues with impulse control. I think there's a lot. It's not just one thing. On a
grand scale, yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it ain't just one thing that sends you over the top. But I look at that. I'm like, why would you ever do that?
Right.
Personally, I'm like, are you kidding? I've seen in my personal life, I had examples when I was a kid down south. It was like, you doing what?
Yeah.
And the thing that turned me off to any kind of drug use is that I'm sitting there as a kid. I'm 12 years old. And this lady, this family member, whoever she was, close family, right?
Yeah.
comes in there and goes, she goes, cats everywhere, cats. I'm like, I'm looking around like, there ain't no cats in here. She goes, they're everywhere. I'm like, okay, all right. So that and some other things turned me off to any kind of drug use right there, which is a good thing in hindsight. I went, forget drugs. You see that? Oh, heck no. I'm done. I'm done. Straight and narrow for me.
Yep. I don't want to see more than the appropriate amount of cats ever.
I'm not a cat person anyway. So I don't need to see no invisible cats. No. So that and other examples made me say, no, drugs ain't necessarily a good thing. Something's wrong. So I'm done. All
right. So I guess
I can turn the clothes on.
Let's go do some drugs now.
That's right. To the drug den.
Oh man. Well, we can definitely get in time to wrap up, but let's touch on before we wrap up this thing in Oregon real quick, because I don't honestly have a ton to say about that. Mm-hmm. One thing I want to do is direct people to the Haas USMC's YouTube channel, which you don't know the guy. He called in on the show one time way back, and great guy, former Marine. Okay, we got that right. I didn't say ex-Marine. Yeah.
There you go.
And,
there you go.
really cool guy. But he lives up there.
Okay.
You know, and he's really heavily involved in the militia and all, like different, like the whole militia movement and all that kind of stuff.
Got it.
No, I don't mean that particular one. And you know, I tended, and so the reason I say that because I'm not an expert on this. You know, he is more of one than I am. So definitely check out his video. And I know that his stance on it was that he did not support what was going on in Oregon. And to me, and it made sense to me based on my limited knowledge of the situation. It made sense to me what he said. He said that they didn't, that they're not from there.
Yeah.
Right. That's the thing. That's the thing. Like it's
biggest problem. You're not even from around here. Yeah.
Right. They're not from there. The people in Oregon, the people who would be the type to do something like that in Oregon, like didn't want that to happen apparently. But you know, anyone listening, just go check out that video, whatever, whether you agree or disagree with it. Like, you know, he knows more about it than I do. But it seems to me, based on what I know of the situation, it doesn't seem like, that it sounds like that, you know, some people maybe were being mistreated by the government. But
Possibly.
that's a pretty extreme measure. And I don't think that's good for anything necessarily.
Yes, exactly.
At this point.
The two people that they're there supposedly to support were ranchers, and allegedly they were convicted of, I think, arson.
Right.
And they also animal cruelty too, because I'm not clear on the details.
Right. And they're saying that, you know, they didn't actually set the fires; it was the government that did it.
Exactly.
Possibly.
But they got convicted, and now they get ready to go to jail for it. And now these people show up and take over this this wilderness area.
Yeah.
To this bird sanctuary.
Yeah.
To support them. And the people, the two guys that they're there to support are like, we have nothing to do with these people. We don't know who they are. Yeah. This is not good.
Yeah. You can make a bad situation a lot worse by doing something like that.
I saw something that the local sheriff was out there trying to talk to him. Hey, look, we need to talk about this. You got to go. We understand. We see you. We heard you. You had your little march. We understand, but you got to go. Yeah. And the local people in the town said the same thing. Look, you're scared the hell out of us. You had your parade. But thank you.
Right.
Go home now. You know, hey.
You know, I'm just as much as patriotic as anybody, but I'm not a guy that, you know, I didn't necessarily support the Bundy Ranch thing. You know, I'm not a guy that I don't support that kind of activity at this point. There's nothing that's happened that I've seen so far where it makes sense to actually take up arms against the government.
Exactly.
Literally.
Within the limits, resist within the limits of the law.
Right.
Thank you. Within the limits of the law, because if you don't, you look like some kind of nutcase. You look like some kind of radical extremist, which is bad.
Right.
It doesn't help anybody by doing that.
Exactly. And there could be a time and place for that.
But this is not it.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything yet that seems like that.
Exactly. Within the limit, these people, if you're going to resist within the limits of the law, peaceful protest, that works.
Right.
Make yourself, and then also, if you know, you can change the laws, change the situation legally. Right. That's how you do it. Not this, you know, taking stuff over, because that's an illegal act. You cannot do that.
It's seriously illegal.
Exactly. You cannot do that because you're just confirming what people already think.
Right. And it makes gun owners look crazy.
Exactly.
You know, so that's the problem. Which honestly, if it got to the point where I felt like, you know, people had to really stand up and say no to the government, like it's like, seriously, who cares if they think we're crazy? You know what I mean? But it just doesn't seem like that.
We're not to that point yet. Not over this.
No.
Not over this. I mean, people, you're not helping anybody by doing this. And the people that you're supposedly supporting are like, who are you guys? We don't even know you. So it's not the right time, not the right place, not the right reason.
Right. And then again, I'll admit I don't know a ton about it. No. I'm not like in any militias. I'm not heavily involved in like the whole militia, you know, movement and that aspect of it and stuff. You know, but to me, it seems like I don't support it. I'm not.
And I think from what I've seen, a lot of people say they got a limited. I don't know how many of them are up there.
I'm not sure.
But that's the image I'm getting from the news so far. That it doesn't have a big following. They're hoping to get one.
Right.
That they're hoping that people just drop what you're doing and drive up to Oregon. Dude, I don't know. I don't think you have the backing. Or the right moral, you don't have the moral ground. You're not staying on the right moral ground.
Right.
So, dude, legally resist. Yeah. Legally resist.
Yeah, I agree. And if you know it was really serious, I would be all for something like that. If it was really serious, but it had to be very serious.
Exactly.
Like they're rounding people up, taking people's guns illegally. Like
exactly. But that's not going to happen. And and this is not that. This is not that.
Right.
So it just looks like you're
and
breaking the law.
Right. and people get, convicted of things they didn't do all the time.
Yeah.
We're going to protest that every time it happens. I mean, yeah, we should, like I said, use the system that we have in place for now.
Exactly.
Until it has truly, truly failed.
Exactly. Use all legal means possible. Because like some of the civil rights protesters in the 60s, Martin Luther King said the same thing. Look, if you go out there, taking stuff over, burning stuff down, you're just gonna end up locked up or in camp somewhere. You're right. That's how you end up in a concentration camp by doing that. No, use the system that's in place to legally resist.
Right.
And if you're causing people to have fear, that's not the effect you want.
Right.
You do not want that.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
people have to get behind you and say, well, they're doing the right thing the right way. If people aren't saying that, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. You need the support of the people. Your cause ain't going to go anywhere anyways.
Exactly.
All right. Those are that's the message of the day.
That's right.
All right. Well, we'll do it again, and we'll talk to you guys later.
See you later.